Look like mine.
Oh, good. You see them all spread out tonight? Yes. I know where to put them. Perfect.
Wait. I feel like I should defend myself. What's going on here?
Stay over there, you're okay. Same here.
There's not coming here. This floor. Some of it pretty fast. We have a black.
Give it her phone.
There might be another.
Look at some.
3 minutes. Guys can make noise for 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
Gotta wait till it's actually 6. On the money, yep. That for my background. All right, it's 6 o'clock. Well, everybody, it's good to have people here. I love when we do these kind of things. Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer by myself. Please rise and join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Father in heaven, we're so very grateful to gather this evening as community leaders, members of our community. We're grateful for this beautiful city, the peace and prosperity that we enjoy here. Father, we ask that thy spirit will be with us, that as we make considerations tonight that will affect the residents, that we will have the wisdom that will bless us with. That we might remember that we represent all people in this community evenly, fairly, and justly. Please bless our first responders, our police, our fire, our public works. Watch over, protect them, keep them safe, and pray. This we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, item 1B is declaration of conflicts of interest. Any conflicts to declare? Okay, we'll move on. Before we do public comments, I'd just like to excuse Sarah and Phil. Phil's on vacation. It's that time of year, and Sarah's a little under the weather, so I'm glad she didn't come and make us sick, so. Item 1C is public comments, questions for the council and mayor, limited to 3 minutes. I don't think so. She didn't say she was. Any member? Jonathan? 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Perez. I live off of, I live 1146 West, Terrible Court, so pretty much 4300 North. I just wanted to, I love the city and I love everything you guys do. I'm very grateful to live here. The end of at the end of summer last year, it was the day the power went out. I guess teenagers nothing else to do, but they lit some fireworks where we live. So I live right below the empty fields up there on 4300. My house almost burnt. So I got some pictures I took with the drone a couple of days after that incidents. There were actually 9 fires, according to the police chief, the fire chief. There were 9 fires in a 2-week period, all caused by teenagers, all caused by fireworks. And I wasn't born here, but I was told that people native from here knew that above the canal, fireworks are not allowed. That's something I was not aware of, and I think a lot of the new construction homes, I don't think anyone is aware of that here. So I printed some pictures. I can pass them out so you can see the damage. The empty fields are still empty, and there's a lot of weeds across the street from where I live. The weeds are probably taller than me. It's a really nice community. My only suggestion would be to put a sign to avoid people from lighting fireworks or to trespass on the dirt road on 4300. I think there's a lot of incidents that we call the police very frequent to teenagers burning things, breaking glass, doing obscene things. I mean, it's kind of super common. Police shows up every time, but it's I don't know. Maybe if the budget for the fire department is not or continues to grow, maybe we should hold some of these teenagers or their parents accountable for the damages and things caused instead of raising everybody's taxes. It's just my suggestion. Where would you like these pictures over?
Are you gonna leave them for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can give them to me or give them to Andrea, and we'll notify, we'll have a meeting with the fire department and our police will,
Awesome.
you know.
That's my all my comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 2, the consent items, minutes of May 27th, 2025, and the bills from the city. Just the bills. Okay. Question?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the bills of Pleasant View City.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Arrington, second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Founder's Day honorees, introduction and presentation of the 2025 Founder's Day honorees. I'm going to turn the time over to Councilmember Marriott. Take care of this.
Well, we didn't have any standing and cheering about Founder's Day, so it's here. It's that's awesome. This is the fun time to talk in city council meeting, and it's always fun to talk about Founder's Day, and especially to talk about and introduce our grand marshals for this year. And this has been kind of fun for me, and always is fun for me. I'll start off like to introduce Benjamin Neff and talk about him a little bit. I've known Ben for his whole life. I have known his family and we sure love them. And this is kind of a special opportunity for us. I'm going to read through some things here and then we'll talk about Ben, maybe give him and his family a chance to say some things as well. We've decided to name Benjamin Neff the bike traffic captain. It's a little bit hard to say, but we'll tell you why here in a minute. But Ben was born and raised in Pleasant View. His parents are Andy and Danielle Neff, and he has two awesome sisters, Andrea and Natalie. And Ben attended Bates Elementary, Orion Junior High, and Weber High School, where he loved to play in the band and participate in special needs track. Ben loves to attend any sporting event from Weber State to Indiana University. It doesn't matter the sport, he will go and cheer if you let him. His favorite teams are Weber State, the Utah Jazz, the Raiders, and the Indiana Hoosiers, can't say it right. He will watch the games on TV with the appropriate t-shirt on and cheer for this game, for both teams. Ben loves to participate in the Ogden Valley adaptive sports. He skis, indoor and outdoor rock climbs, kayaks, and bike rides. He participated in the Summit Fest last fall, participating in a 16-mile bike ride, which is awesome. That's a long ways, Ben. He always loves to bowl, swim, go to institute, and to watch movies with his group of friends. You can find Ben on his bike on the walking path in Pleasant View, which is great. And he's always directing traffic, or he will be on the couch watching the KSL traffic report. If you ever need an update on I-15, call Ben and he'll let you know. Is that true? I know when we talked to him, he let his parents know how long it would take for them to get home from work. So anyway, we're really excited to have Ben as our bike traffic captain for the bike parade, Founders Day on June 28th. We have some stuff for you, Ben, and we'll bring that out right now. Who's going to take pictures for us? We'll have our picture taken.
Yeah.
Let me. All right, first off there, we're gonna give you the certificate. So you can... You hang that on your wall. I'm sure you're gonna like this a little better, so give you a pin here too. This is really fun. I know you like the salmon bakes. So we'll give you something special with bike parade. It says, Salmon Day by Traffic Captain 2025 and has your name on the back. Very. Been worried about last 2 weeks already, how we can shut down traffic, which roads are getting closed. All right, we're gonna keep going here. That's awesome. Ben, we're really excited to have you do that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right, so for the grand marshals this year, we have chosen and I get to be the ones that get to say we chose them, but it was also fun. That was because we all agreed to that, which is awesome. But the founders that day grand marshals is Mel and Diane Marker. And I'll read this and then I'll share some more thoughts as well. We're proud to have them as the grand marshals. Pleasant View is proud to honor Mel and Diane as the 2025 Founders Day Parade Grand Marshals, residents of Pleasant View for nearly 50 years since 1976, which is awesome. The Markers have built a legacy of family, faith, and community service. Mel graduated from Ogden High and University of Utah MBA with an MBA. Diane graduated from Weber State and Weber High, and Weber State in nursing. Together, they started All Metals Fabrication, the business in 1994, which has showcased metal railings and panels and architectural designs throughout the entire state, including signature work here in Ogden at Weber State, Ogden High, Ben Lomond, Solomon Center, Ogden Fire Station, and throughout Pleasant View. Throughout Pleasant View, awnings, railings, and other metal features stand as landmarks of the Markers' design work and generosity, quiet contributions that continue to leave a lasting impact. Together, they raised 7 children and now enjoy 29 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. I'm sure many of them are here tonight. Mel served on the Pleasant View City Council, and both have been active in church leadership, scouting, school volunteering. They served an LDS mission in Kirtland, Ohio, inner city Ogden, and Tokyo, Japan. Mel is best known for always having a good joke to share, and Diane is beloved for her culinary talents, from cinnamon rolls, which we should have had here tonight, but cinnamon rolls and cheesecake to the perfect roast beef and dinner. They love ballroom dancing, cheering on their children in sports, hosting Sunday family dinners filled with laughter and cousin time. The Markers are devoted to Pleasant View, which they proudly call the best place on earth. Congratulations to them. We're grateful that they're willing to accept this and be the grand marshals for us. I haven't known Mel and Diane and been around them and really close a lot of the time, but I've been around their children a lot, and that's been kind of fun. And I get to harass all the time, but a few others as well. And I don't see all of them. Rob's not here, but
Oh, he's here.
is he? Is he hiding back there? Oh, there he is. I didn't see him back there. I saw his wife earlier, but I didn't see him, and a few others as well. So, but I know their family, and then the more I talk about them, these things continue to come up that impress me and about Mel and Diane. They've done a great job raising their family and have participated in the community. One thing that it didn't say here, and Mel has helped us with the Founders Day the last 3 years or so, being the announcer announcing the parade at the roundabout, which has been kind of fun. And like I said, he served on the city council, and that's been a great contribution as well. We really appreciate that. I don't know if anybody else would like to say anything about them before I give them this award, but you're welcome to.
Oh, I've known the Markers for a little while. I want you to know I didn't have much to do with the nomination, but when it came forward, I was sure in favor of it. And I know my parents have said, "Oh, we just want to crawl in a hole. We don't want to have people, but
That's a typical response.
but I think that they have seen a lot of change in Pleasant View. They've been here for a long time. They've seen a lot of change, and they're the kind of people that embrace people as they come in. And that's what's made them so lovable, is just as people come, they embrace them. They say, come to Pleasant View and be a part of us. And, always taking a pan of cinnamon rolls or cookies when people come in, or, let them borrow their shovel or anything like that. And I do want to change one thing about their bio. It says that Mel's best known for a good joke, and good is kind of questionable, but
Apple doesn't
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
very far from the tree on that one.
debatable, that's debatable, but my dad has a signature thing where whenever he calls you on the phone, when he goes to hang up, he leaves you with a good joke. So anyway, we're thrilled for them and they've been such a great contribution to our community. So congratulations.
Yeah, this is a special time for us and we appreciate that. We,
Well, just very briefly, Mel has a special place in my heart because I started my political career with Mel here on the city council. And I just wanted to tell you, he was a giant. Didn't say tons, but when he said something, it really meant, you knew that he thought about it. And it was just great wisdom. And I learned a lot from you, Mel. Thank you very much. And I do appreciate that. Just out of nowhere, something funny, something will come. I mean, out of just a solemn, and then all of a sudden, some little laughter, some little joke thing. It's been a privilege to know you these years, Mel. Thank you, and it's an honor I'm glad you accepted this honor here because it gives you, it lets people know really that you're part of the community. So thank you.
well, let's,
Just
Oh,
quick,
sorry.
on behalf of the community, thanks for all you've contributed, both of you. And thanks for putting up with him for all these years and allowing him to do the community things that he has done. And you've both been just wonderful members of the community and we really appreciate that.
How'd you get such a young wife? You're such an old man. I don't understand that.
Let's get some pictures and then.
you can talk to your family and we'll listen if you want. Why don't you pick up that mic? You can take it off there. If you, there you go. Is it on?
Oh, it should be on, flip it down or it was on.
Flip it down or up, whatever.
There you go.
As I said to her, I remember back when we started running for city council and they said I was in the iron and steel business, and I let people know that my wife irons and I steel. And so we've gone from there and done a pretty good job there too. But anyway, we've enjoyed Pleasant View. We can't remember no, we just haven't had anything really unhappy. Everything's been great. Our kids have all done well. They've married well. They've gone to school. We haven't had any real challenges. And people say, well, you did a good job. And I just say, well, I stayed out of their way. And, but we're really pleased with them. And we are grateful for this time we've spent in Pleasant View. I don't know how much else, less.
The Neffs reminded us, we came in the door today, that people always say, hey, my kids live in the Great Patch. And everyone goes, what's the Great Patch? But we who have lived here a long time worked many, many long hours in the Great Patch and are thankful that some of our kids live in that Great Patch. We are so honored by this, and we just want you to know that Pleasant View has given us much more than we've ever given back. It's been such a wonderful place to raise children, and it's been a wonderful place to raise ourselves. And we've loved living here. Sometimes when we come home and we're down on that freeway, looking up on that hill and that road that leads to our house, we'll say to each other, there's our little corner of the world, our little piece of heaven. And it has been just a piece of heaven to us. And we know that sometimes people moving in, you know, it's hard with water and with everything. And we're just getting so full so fast. And yet every time someone moves in, I just think, oh, they don't know yet how wonderful this is going to be, because it's just a really wonderful place to live. So we want to just thank you all and tell you that we feel unworthy of this, but we are honored that, and for your graciousness and your kindness. Thank you.
Thanks so
very
much.
And everybody's invited to stay, but we'll understand if you don't, because it's.
No big deal. We're just talking about budget.
Camping.
Sorry, Ann, you can't go.
Sorry, we need to perform.
Bye. It's so true.
Come on up.
All right, we'll move to item 4, public hearing
Have a seat right here.
compensation. Discussion and possible consideration to approve compensation increases for executive municipal officers for the fiscal year 2025-26, ordinance 2025-17. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Yes, dude.
I'll make a motion. We go into the public hearing.
So moved.
Wait, what was that?
Sorry.
You
I
said
I
second.
made a motion. Second motion. He seconded the motion.
All right.
Motion.
Motion by
He's
Harrington,
third.
second by
I'm
Gibson.
still.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're in public.
Sorry.
Laurie.
State House to bill where we want to have a separate public hearing for any kind of compensation increases for executive municipal officers. This year, we're just doing across the board the same. So the ordinance is for all those executive municipal officers, we're going to give them a 2.8% COLA and up to a 3% performance adjustment. That would be no,
So say that again. 0.8 is what?
COLA.
Oh, cool.
And it's in the resolution or ordinance there, and then up to 3% for performance.
Same as the other employees, basically.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have to by the new law. Yep. Okay. Questions?
I'll
Any-
make a motion. We close the public hearing.
Anybody from the public wish to address us on this? There is one person. No, okay, now.
Now I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Arrington, second by Gibson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this compensation increase for the executive municipal officers, ordinance 2025-17, as stated by Larry.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Harrington,
Yes.
Gibson. Yes. Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson and Yuri are both excused. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 5, budget workshop.
Here, I have some papers I have your desk. I emailed you, documents earlier today, but the first one is this one. So everything in black is what we talked about last week. If I checked them, I put them into the budget. So we did add some, items that are in red. The first one on here, we do not have the property tax rates from the state yet. So I redrafted a resolution to see if you guys want to adopt it subject to, the state, whatever they say. We decided not to do a property tax increase, so I'm assuming we're just going to accept whatever they would say was.
Okay.
So that one is a blank.
But did we have an estimate before though? We don't know it from the previous, right? So it shouldn't be any different.
This should be pretty close, I would
Yeah.
think.
That can change. And the next one is in the budget, in the general fund, I did increase building permit item, for like inspections and collection fees. So I added those for this year. Also building permit, the actual inspection and fees, about 49,000 in this year. And then we had talked about the Central River Sewer, the North Beach Fire, for us to collect impact fees, and we were holding $75 fee. I removed that for
I got it.
negotiations. So those fees I have been taken out. I did not reduce the court fine by 5,000, but actually last month it went up. So I actually increased the court fines by 25,000 for both years. The next red one, business license, I upped by 1,000. Passing roads came in, and I got the final there, so it's up by 15,000 for this year and for next year. The subdivision fees, I just increased that by 200. Well, including courts 500, and recreation fees, 2.5 thousand for this year, and next year 6,000. We've also added, well, so those are the changes for revenue. The expenditures, in red. This one doesn't affect the budget dollar, but we moved, one of the city administrators, 25% of her allocation from building inspection to court. She is on court now. And for this year, there's an increase for next year, the cost of the dump truck and plow is up by 52,000. Those ones are not out of the general fund. And then for both fiscal years, we're upping the judges training by 4. We got the actual cost. For both fiscal years. And last time we were here, we talked about hiring services. So Andrea found some information, and I included the highest value in there, so you guys can choose what you want. But it's 7,554 for the year. If there's an option for 3 months, or 2.4 thousand, or 6 months. So that is included. The highest count is included in the budget. Later. We did this one. The next item is not in the budget, but this is to add a public works inspector. We already have one in there, but this would make 2 public works inspectors. At 110,500, 60,000 of it would come out of the general fund, but the enterprise funds. And this is just to redistribute the responsibilities of the currently approved inspector's position to ensure more manageable capable workload, while supporting better recruitment out for the whole position. We just have never been able to fill that position, but if you look at the job description, nobody would want it. You can't find a person to do things with all those jobs and still maintain what you do with the state, EPA and everything. So that's not in the budget that I think what you guys would decide. The next one's a problem. Very bottom of that, there's the rainy day fund balance. When we first started this process, the tentative budget, the rainy day carryover was at 15.94%. Then we came back on May 22nd, the changes, we were up 17.61%. Then the last, and at this meeting, is at 1.3 million, so it's an 18.49% carryover. And then if we do add the account of the public sector, the budget will go to 7.4%. And the next page were changes to the tentative, the fee schedule. So I just marked the ones that we're doing, and based out of the fee schedule. We corrected the plan check fee, for identical plans. The next one, I'm going to keep the signs as is until we research on that. April going out to April, the paperless, the electronic bill, the charges there, and until we go out to bid. So that. We are going to change the credit card fees 2% on all transactions. We've added new typical quality, and then we do some of the essential collection. Now it's for you guys to discuss or have any questions or what you want to do on that.
Well, I personally think the big one to talk about is the second public works inspector. We don't have one now. What are we doing?
So currently with the rule changes, and we've tried to fit it in with myself or Michael, they have their RSIs. The difficult part for us is those positions are, you're trying to accomplish all of your maintenance for roads and stormwater as well. So that priority is shifted down because there's a very specific process you're supposed to follow from the state. So rather than going out, because some of what we were doing trying to fill that void with some of the issues that came up during the state audit that we were previously in. And so that was sort of the recommendation, even in some of those scenarios, we went over a couple with that not being the main intent of the audit. So they didn't go into it too far other than the ones we did, recommending that we didn't take that type of action if we were following that full process from cradle to grave, because of how heated the SWIP item has become at the state level as well. So.
And I guess the question I have is, are we busy enough to have 2 full-time inspectors? Or should we be looking at separation of duty and either you guys continue to handle the lesser part of it, or contract outside for part of it, or I mean, what?
Yeah, and so that's some of we have looked at a lot of the new stormwater companies. That's something they've started to look at or offering, whereas historically it's been more of a contractor role. But then you get into like our housekeeping goals. So the city, we have housekeeping for ourselves, our own SWIP. So there's things as a individual city that we're supposed to be following as well.
Steve, can you just, and I apologize, I don't know what that person does. Can you, either you or Tyson explain this, SWIP, I guess that's, they would, anyway, just give me a 30-second, 45-second explanation of what that person does. We have inspectors that inspect sites. These are for our, like a manhole. I mean, if we have sewer or stormwater, I mean, what are they inspecting?
So every building permit essentially, has a SWIP element in it. It's roughly, depending, commercials are obviously larger documents.
Excuse me, but don't we have an inspection person that we contract inspectors?
But he's building.
Building.
This is all stormwater. It's
So this is only stormwater.
It's very different jobs.
Okay. So if someone goes up, if our inspector for the code goes, our contracted inspector goes up for the code stuff. Do they do stormwater stuff as well? No.
No, so they're very different rules, and I mean, they know enough to, if they seen a big problem, there was some general coordination, but for the most part, I don't
So-
know building code and they don't know SWIP
So this is
code.
only SWIP stuff.
Yes,
You have to ask what he intends to have.
So
in this division.
the SWIP inspector is part of that, yes.
So what
that's-
else? What else does he inspect? Cause if that was the case, then, I mean, we don't have that many SWIP. I mean, is every building where you go into the stormwater has to have that? I mean, I don't know it does, but
So.
would there be 20 of those, 50, 100 of those?
So you have the building permit process, so every building permit, it's about pretty much a guarantee with lots, so. And then you get into so you vote on the long-term stormwater management plan. You're supposed to be inspecting every one of those sites to ensure that they're following their long-term plans. You have to track it specifically, there's where those documents are, if they're following it, if they're not, the action items and enforcement after the fact.
I think my recommendation would be to, pass the budget without this in it and give us, I just was informed about this yesterday, that it was gonna be included in here, so that's why I asked the questions I asked. I haven't really had a chance to sit down with Tyson and say, can we break this apart? Can we, the way it was presented was, there's just too much required of this person for what we're paying. We can't hire anybody. So it's all falling onto Tyson. So I think we need to look at some other options. And if we come back,
so
we
do we
can
not
come
have-
back to you and, and
Do we not have anybody at this point? It's all Tyson that's doing it? We don't have a person right now that's doing this?
It's been a mix. But yeah,
Who? I mean,
yeah,
Tyson and who else? And who else?
the other street store, but that's where they're also supposed to be doing your iWorks and your maintenance and
right.
anything
No,
with
I'd like to get
stormwater.
somebody hired, so we got to figure out how to do that. I just don't know if we got the workload. We're looking at splitting it because of the qualifications and the fact that we can't hire anybody, not necessarily the workload. And so I just think it needs more research. We can always come back to, and open the budget, and, if we determine a need or even restructure or, part, we might want to, increase the budget to pay a third party to do some of these. There's a lot to vet out. So
I agree.
that's just my recommendation. You look big about something.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't think we should approve it in the budget, but I think we got to visit this closely. What I'd like to see is, well, you're short people still, right? Multiple people, and let's get those filled, but let's define exactly what they're doing, what their roles are.
And we have
Clear-
that with job
Yeah.
descriptions.
I know we
but
definitely need a person here, but that's my thought, is the money could be maybe better used in the city elsewhere for,
Well,
instead of a second inspector.
yeah, I'm not
So
saying
we
we
gotta
don't,
figure that out.
yeah, I'm not saying we don't need it for sure, but what I'm saying is it's hard to tell right now
Yep.
because it's not defined or clear of what their roles would be. And if we hire somebody, what makes us think we would hire somebody else if we don't have it defined?
We do have it defined.
So that's the kind of stuff I'd like to see.
Okay.
If it comes here. So,
Any other questions of what Laurie's presented to us?
but I am concerned that we're not, and I know that's the other piece on this budget is this hiring service. I don't know if that's what you were talking about last council
It is.
meeting,
It is.
but what do they do and what does that include? And
That's a jump on the call with me to go through it. They, which I did have a handout. I thought it got emailed out to you, so I apologize if it did not.
So what we do is fill out a questionnaire when we have a job opening, send it down to them, and they go ahead and, create the job ad. And they send that out to, you remember the number that they said?
I think that they can.
Oh, so they push it out to 23 different job boards. So they hit Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster. So if you were to look at what it would cost us to advertise on one of those platforms and to design the ad and monitor that. And then from those job sites, they can go directly to a website that, they set up a landing page, so it looks just like our website. So it, shows that they're coming to Pleasant View City. They can apply through, an online platform, rather than having to come in and pick up a physical application or request one from the city. And then there are different tools in there where you can have them do a video interview, with some basic questions right off the bat. The platform allows you to email, text, do all of your, thank you, but no thank you type letters, before an interview, after an interview. And then you have an account representative that will go in and change anything that you maybe see wrong on the job description, so that they tailor it for what we need. It does go through with AI and, compare your job listing and your description to the resume that they've submitted, and they do a job match, so they do a percentage of the match, so that you can, drill down into the ones that are landing higher on there. But you still do have the opportunity to go into each and every job, or each and every resume or application submitted, and look for those that may have, not picked up on the AI software.
Yeah, I
I think it's
It was really good. I liked it. One thing that I thought about, they do offer a better deal for the year subscription rather than the 3 month or whatever. And I don't know, citywide, whatever, we're down people. I think we're pretty comfortable doing a year-long one because you get a better price per month.
Yeah.
And I think citywide will always have somebody going. One thing that I did like, about it was, when somebody goes into these platforms and says, I'm looking for a job and this is what I do, it will tell them, hey, Pleasant View City is hiring for that job. And, I look at what we spent in overtime last year, and I think that will pay for itself time and time again, just helping us, hopefully, getting fully staffed.
Let's take that out of the police officer's budget.
I would recommend approving it for a year and then revisiting it.
Yeah.
See, how did it
Yeah.
do? Did we get somebody off of it, that type of thing? Cause I know we got still 3, I think.
Yeah, what we're currently doing is just not working.
Right.
So I think this is a good thing. I would hope that maybe the quality of person would increase as well, because we're gonna be accessing a bigger puddle
right.
out there, but
Puddle.
cool puddle.
It's still small.
Still small.
From the pool.
That was
That was intentional.
puddle.
That was a metal joke.
But, I mean, if we sign up for the year, are we locked into the year? Can't change.
Yes, they auto bill for that year, and then you can cancel.
Cause I would love to see, we have 3, but, it is $300 cheaper or whatever for the year, but and that's not a ton, but.
And he did, when we were on, say that he had a little wiggle room on the year, contract. So what went in there is the highest amount. I would go back to him and ask him to bring it down.
Well, I would just, we have 3 in Public Works and 1 in. So there's 3, 4, maybe 5 people. Hopefully we can fill that in 6 months.
And not have any more.
And not having, we'll always have stuff, but.
Right.
The summer, Public Works, we need people right now. So
Right.
I would hope this would just bring in a
Yeah.
big puddle or pool of.
I would hope so. And
Ocean.
it is unlimited job listings, unlimited applicants like received.
Yeah.
So we're not limited on.
There's not any other hidden charges that.
And you've had experience with this in the past and it was a good experience.
It was really great. It took us for one job from 1 applicant to 130. So, and of course, you're gonna have the ones that you need to just weed out. But we got 7 highly qualified people that we interviewed for one position and.
Well, what's the cost of hunting on our own? Is
Right.
the cost of that too?
Huge, yeah.
probably
Well, and I mean,
down for it. I think we should do it. 1,700 is not.
yeah, I agree.
I
And I
agree.
mean, he's struggling to just keep his head above water with all the issues that are going on. And now we're looking for another person, another job description. And I think it's just if we can get stable and get people here, then he can actually make improvements and.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and part of ours, we've had apps. Some of it was the shift when people retired, some of it
Yeah.
was, we've hired people and it didn't work out. And yeah, opening a bigger pool obviously should help that, but.
Well, and it can also help if, somebody comes, doesn't work out, sometimes that, you still have a list, where you can go back and.
Yeah.
Say,
One thing I like too, I think it'll save a lot of time on, your candidates that you interview, because they fill stuff out on this thing and you can look and I see a lot less surprises in their process. Sometimes you feel like you have a great candidate, you get them in, it's like, oh, our application didn't ask this, this, and this, and they actually don't fit what we're looking for. I think by the time they're done with this and they get in there in an interview, you're interviewing people who are pretty nice.
Yeah.
are we ready to move to item 6? Which is the resolutions for. Let's do 6A is the discussion and possible action to amend the 2024-25 fiscal year budget, resolution 2025-G. I just pulled that out of there. Can't believe I did that.
So we could amend it with everything that's on here. It's all,
Yeah, that she submitted. As submitted.
because the inspector is not in this, right?
Right.
So you have 2 resolutions.
Wants to amend this year.
Oh, this year.
Set last.
Front of you, it's longer, 2025H, it was on your
Sorry.
desk, you got here.
I just, yeah.
And I just called G, which is the amend the budget. The current budget, right? And that's the one that's in front of you right now.
Are you ready for a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion that we amend the 2024-25 budget resolution 2025 GS discussed.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Arrington,
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson and Yuri are both excused, motion passes. Okay. Next item is the discussion and possible action to adopt the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget resolution 2025-H. Now, you have a different resolution in front of you, loose. It's a little longer than the one that was back in. And as Larry explained, the Weber County switched to assessor's office switched to some kind of new computer system. Never should have got rid of their old one. But
That sounds personal.
yeah, it is. So so they're having problems with it and unable to provide the state the necessary information they need to put it out there for certified tax rates for us to use. So this resolution basically, and because we're not entertaining a tax increase, it's kind of simple. We have it in the budget. We can approve and say, hey, we're going to approve the budget subject to whatever the state grants us. Without an increase or a decrease, so. Any questions? And this does not, the one we're looking at passing does not include that position, right? That was
Everything else I checked off that sheet.
Right.
Has it in there,
including the subscription service.
yes.
Okay.
And then on section 4, I put on it that the resolution takes effect on the day the city receives the certified tax rate from the state.
Okay.
So that's what happens.
All right, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt the 2025-26 fiscal year budget resolution 2025-H.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
A motion by Arrington, second by Marriott. This will be a roll call vote also. Arrington,
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson and Yuri are excused, motion carries. 3, Floating on.
So did they say when they thought they would have it?
No,
They
they
gave a
know.
date?
We keep taking IT and fixing it spot.
Mm.
No idea.
It'll be interesting to see, by
'Cause they
law,
have
we're
to have
required.
by the end, by July 1st, right? Or June 1st?
June 22nd, you're supposed to have the tax rate approved. June 26th, I believe, is the budget. Oh, okay, I'm going with districts. It's a little different than city, so. Sorry, I quoted district dates.
Crazy.
Special
They don't
district
get
dates.
it. The county knows, the state. knows, it's
Yeah.
our fault.
They're trying really hard to work with everybody, so. And it is what it is. We don't have them. They can't hold us, you're in breach. Well, yeah, we are, but technically, what do you do? So, and everybody in Weber County faces the same problem.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to item 7, consolidated fee schedule. Discussion and possible action to amend the consolidated fee schedule, resolution 2025-I. Laurie.
Okay, this is a fee schedule, you've seen it, the changes I've made were in that, those red highlights that I gave you. But it is exactly the same, except for those changes.
Okay.
So,
And I'll make a motion that we adopt the consolidated fee schedule as stated, 2025-I.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. Further discussion. Roll call vote. Harrington,
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson, and your excuse. Motion carries. Thank you. All voted aye. I'll say that. Forgot what to say. Okay. Item 8, purchase lease vehicles. Discussion and possible action to approve the purchase of the 10 lease for the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget. That's
All right, so, as far as the police vehicles go, I don't know, it's probably been 10 years ago, we started leasing the vehicles. Something that happened is when we did that, we got all 10 vehicles on the same rotation, the same lease, the same. At that time, I'm gonna tell you, at that time, the numbers worked. It was a really pretty good deal. You could go lease a really nice vehicle for a really good deal because they wanted the vehicles back at the end of the 3-year lease and they could sell the used vehicle with very little miles and they made a lot of money on it. That's kind of shifting now. They don't really want to lease us vehicles. The lease price went from $4,700 a year on the ones that we have now to $12,600 if we were to lease some new ones in July. I talked to the company Bancorp. I had a deal worked out with them as far as extending the leases on our vehicles. Another thing to take into consideration is the equipment install went from about $5,000 to $5,500 per vehicle to $18,000. I talked to a chief from another agency the other day and I said, yeah, our quote that I got for what I want to put in our vehicles, 18,000. It's like, that's too low. I don't know what equipment you're putting in, but ours is well over 20,000. So I've kind of stewed on this. I've put the numbers to it. I went through it. Laurie and I sat down. And one thing I did do is I looked at the vehicles that we currently have. They're on their 3rd year. They're ranging anywhere from about 12, well, one of them has 12,000 miles on it. And the very highest one has about 45,000 miles on it. I really struggle with turning a vehicle back in with less than 50,000 miles on it. I mean, you pay for some stuff up front in a vehicle and we're not even I just don't think we're getting the best bang for our buck when we turn them back in with 17,000 miles on it after 3 years. So I looked at, the residual on everything we have now, the ones we have now, they're still all really good. I actually just, in the last couple of weeks, I've had all of our officers take them to the dealership, go through them, get all the recalls done on them. They're all up to date with that. They're all running good. They're all passing emissions. The residual on them is 38,000 right now. More than half of them have below 30,000 miles on And I think it's in our best interest to go ahead and purchase those vehicles now. It's gonna cost a little more upfront, but get them purchased so that then the ball's in our court. We're not relying on this lease thing. We're not stressing about getting them back and getting the, one thing that happened before was we would just get them when we could get them. Then we get them in and they're here, but VLS or Premier, wherever we were gonna take them to get the equipment installed was 6, 8, 9 months out. Well, then you're paying for a vehicle sitting out here in the parking lot because you're paying the lease on it. It's not being used. I also, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but when Corey and I sat down and went through it, we did kind of like 5 or 6 year plan on, basically replacing the vehicles as we went. And it was just shy of $400,000 is what we figured we would save over a, 5 or 6 year plan. And like you take some vehicles, like the vehicle that, our detective's driving right now, he just gave me the miles the other day. It has 12,000 miles on it. I mean, that vehicle's gonna run for a long time. If we own it, we can keep it.
Yeah, when the, the cost of the vehicle was low and the cost of the install was low, but right now to do 10 new vehicles leased. And then you'd actually spend more installing equipment than the lease payment would be for the first year. Yeah, I think
I'm for it. Oh, excuse me. No, you're good. Yeah, I think this is a smart move. It bothered me all the time that we just turn around. And these vehicles, I think through the 70s and 80s, vehicles were junk and they were throwaway stuff. But some of these trucks, I mean,
Ford tough.
huh?
They're built Ford tough.
Built Ford tough.
Yeah.
I mean, 150,000 miles is not a lot on some of these vehicles. And these are trucks. The cars, I remember some of those, what were they, Chargers?
Yeah, and that's one thing that we have, when we switched to the trucks, I like the trucks, cause one, they hold up better, it's harder for an officer to beat a truck up. Them Dodge Chargers, I was in patrol driving a Dodge Charger and it was a blast.
But those Chargers,
Plus on our hill.
the front ends were shot on all those Chargers. They just, the suspensions were gone. And these, I think we can get them. And I would encourage us, to keep up on the maintenance and, tires and oil changes and all those different things and then keep them just like we'd own them. And maybe, we've talked about this too, but maybe have a little bonus something if an officer takes care of his car, and just doesn't beat it up. And he, if you gave him a couple $100, whatever it is, we give them something for taking care of their car.
Yeah, I'm
And,
working on putting some systems in place to track, make sure, put it on their sergeants to check their vehicles once a month or every so often and go through a checklist of, hey, we do it all the time. We go out and look in the sticker and it's like, hey, we got an appointment scheduled, you're 1,000 miles over, that doesn't happen anymore because we're up on it more, but I agree.
well, when I used to work for a company, we would go out once a year and mark all the dings and the different things on the vehicle. And if we didn't have a ding or a scratch or, stuff, they get a little bonus because it costs them to have me take care of it than to fix it. I'm not saying do that, but, I'm for it. Anyway, okay, I'll make a motion when.
Well,
when
so
everybody's done.
my question, and I know you got a spreadsheet on this, right? But what's it gonna cost us right now to do that? And then each year, what are we looking at?
Looking at savings every year.
Well, we are, but I'm not sure, I don't have a spreadsheet, so I don't.
Yeah.
I wanna see when do we start replacing them? And when does that fit in? When can we replace them?
So
If you go pay
Is it on there?
of your budget. The budget.
So we,
Oh, the budget, sorry.
It's already.
yeah, so on the capital facility plans, we go out 5 years, so that's what I have here. So on 18, you see replacement of all those 10 cars for 38,000 each, trucks for 38,000 each. And then starting in 28 and 29, we'll just start doing replacement. taking the worst vehicles first, and then maybe we move it out if the vehicles are so great.
If you go out here, you can see.
So we're not, so this year, we're not, we already, well, there is one, is that right? That's 26, 27, right?
Not part.
And I projected the replacement on them, based on the miles I have and when they would hit. When they would hit 100,000 miles. The reason I used 100,000, and I think they can go more. But the reason I used 100,000 was the manufacturer usually warranties a 5-year, 100,000. So I take that as them saying this truck, when you buy it, it should go for 100,000 miles. And I kind of just used that number so that we could, you know, I really think if we purchase a truck, we should plan on it going for 100,000 miles.
Yeah, I would think so. Especially, and I don't know if you track hours for those. Is there any way to track hours on those?
Yeah, that is
Because
the
I think that's
one-
more in the city, in this city, at least
Yeah.
more hours on the miles. So.
Yep, and that's why I think at 100,000, I mean, I think you should, like, if I go buy a truck for myself, I plan on going a lot more than 100,000. But these trucks do sit, they idle a lot, they're on the side of the road idling and stuff, but that's kind of where I projected when we would start replacing them as they hit 100,000 miles.
Yeah, it wasn't fair enough. So they're all in the budget for this year.
Yep.
Already, okay, but 38,000 was that.
I appreciate you and Laurie working on this and,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's great. Out of
Yeah.
the box, I really appreciate it.
things have changed. The old program was good when it was good, but it's, you know, that things have changed and it's fine.
Yeah, for
Cost
example,
effective.
that
And it was a hassle. But
that CRO truck that you look at there, I mean, it's 10 years old. It's 2015, and it's still a great truck, still going.
all right.
You need a motion on that one?
Steve told me he wanted to make it.
Well, Ann can make it. I was just gonna say, with no further discussion, I would.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Steve,
so-
you're good.
I will make it, the motion that we purchase the 10 lease vehicles, for 2026. As stated by Stetson, I think it's a great idea.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Arrington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Plus the refer, or that's so expensive.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just
No,
think that's
it's not
nuts.
worn out stuff
I mean,
either.
that's,
To outfit it.
to outfit it, it's just,
Yeah, and one thing that, just so that you're aware that I did, that is in the budget, is I budgeted some extra money, because as we leased and that price went up so much, we cut back on some of the equipment we put in them. And I, you know, with purchasing there's about 4 or 5 of them out there without a cage in them, that need a cage for officer safety and other reasons. I budgeted to get them in there so that
So they will all
Yeah.
have cages.
yeah, and as we go forward purchasing, we can equip them how they need.
Okay, item 9, fraud risk assessment, review of the fraud risk assessment. Laurie.
Yep, this is the annual fraud risk assessment. This is required by the state. The state auditors have come up with this list, and we have actually gone through it, and we can comply with all of them except for one, which we do not have an internal audit function. But this is their way of saying, hey, what's your risk level of fraud? And we are very low. So our points are like 375 out of 395, which puts us at a very low risk. And you guys have to see it, approve it, or not even approve it, just have to present it to you guys, and then we do actually upload it to the state auditor's website. So,
You just did
And it's
the,
an annual.
you did the assessment. They just asked the questions and you answered yes or no to them, whether
yeah,
we have
we'll
it.
see if we qualify for them.
Yeah.
That's what it supplies.
Yahoo.
Just FYI, yes.
We don't need to.
No.
Thank you. Item 10, cross-access easement agreement. Discussion and possible action to approve a cross-access easement agreement between Brent Bailey and Pleasant View City to allow for ingress and egress between properties to allow traffic flow in one access onto Highway 89. Property is located at 1330 West Highway 89, parcel ID number 19-016-0111, parcel owner Bailey V Properties LLC, and 1390 West Highway 89, parcel number 19-016-0051, parcel owners Pleasant View City. Andrea.
Okay, so the multi-sport park out on Highway 89, UDOT granted a temporary access for the, parking lot there at the multi-sport park with the intention in the future that there would be a permanent access between that sports park property and the adjacent property owner to the south. Brent Bailey has purchased that property and intends to relocate EK Bailey headquarters up there, so they've applied for this cross access easement so that they can install permanent access. We'll close down the temporary access when that's done. They will be installing a deceleration lane as well. And then from that joint access there, it'll have access into the parking lot from the south. He also is allowing traffic parking, overflow parking in his parking lot as part of that. Yeah, so I mean, we've had a couple meetings with him and this is what he intends to go. They're asking us to sign as an adjacent property owner.
I think it's a great idea. Good partnership. I'll make that motion.
What does it do to this parcel in the back that we own? What do we have to do there? I mean, do we have access through the yard?
We're looking at that, we're in negotiations yet at the trades.
Okay. So it shouldn't change our access to the park, right?
No, improve it.
Well, I mean, to the back of the park and on the
No,
trail,
there'll
the
be
trail, and the road
ability-
back there.
We gotta get back to that back corner of that parcel. You see a bunch of writing. That
Yep,
is storm sewer.
right.
That's where it goes under the railroad tracks. We gotta be able to maintain that. So yeah, we still have all that. All of it. So
We don't need that to go anywhere at some point, right? I mean, yeah, I think I don't have any concerns about it. I just wanted to.
It only benefits.
yeah.
If it lines up with the
road,
the other road,
Yep.
it increases safety. Only pluses there.
Yep.
I'll make that motion, Mayor, to approve this
Okay,
agreement.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All voting aye. Thank you. Item 11, property acquisitions, addendums, Skyline Drive. Discussion and possible action to approve property acquisition addendum for property located at 515 West, 4300 North for Skyline Drive in the amount of 2,390. We take these one at a time. Let's do it.
So these right away were brought to you, previous council meetings. They were approved, accepted, gone through the process, it went to title. And property owners weren't aware that they were paying their, title closing fees. So that's the different amounts. Different banks have a different process, charge, different fees. And they're getting ready to walk because they felt that that was
You're
not
trying
how
to hide
yes.
No, we weren't. That's
And so to keep these
Didn't do the
moving
due
forward,
diligence.
it'll still fall in line for the WACOG, that it wasn't a funding problem, and they asked us to get an addendum so the closing people can, closing title company can track all that it was approved to change that item in the previous contract where the city wasn't gonna cover that fee.
Yeah, at some point, can we kind of see what we have left to acquire? Like just, I don't know if there's a map, we could kind of show us like what's left to keep working on.
Yes,
All right.
we would have,
I'd
we
like to
have
see
that.
sometime.
Much better what we have.
Either way,
go.
one or the other.
All right.
All right. So we just
Do we
wanna-
wanna, why don't I just call all three of these and we can do it in one, I think. Okay, item 11B is Skyline Drive discussion possible action to approve property acquisition and addendum for property located at 620 West, 4300 North for Skyline Drive in the amount of 1,138. And item C is discussion and possible action to approve property acquisition and addendum for property located at 606 West, 4300 North for Skyline Drive in the amount of 1,486.
Here, I'll make a motion that we adopt the property acquisition addendums as identified in 11A, B, and C.
I'll second that motion with the question. This does take us to 1,100, doesn't it? I mean, it's not where we're.
the bigger property is still coming for the offer. This is just pieces along that from 500 to 1100.
Okay.
That was part of this
Right.
property acquisition project,
the-
but
900 to 1100 is.
yeah, and you're in the willing seller, willing buyer with this fund, and so anybody that declined, which we have that all listed and why, and that's all tracked with part of this, and
That's it.
Did I say is, you make the motion? Motion Arrington, second Gibson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 12 is a change order. Discussion and possible action to consider a change order in the amount of $14,415.55 to Black and McDonald for changes made to the 2021 street light installation project. Tyson.
so this will finish up the 2021 streetlight installation. Excuse me, most of the change order comes from when you're designing that project. Rulon White was a big one. That subdivision was in process and you don't know where all of the transformers are going. So when we met with them at one point, the cost of those transformers is quite high and they're 6 months out. The city we didn't have the funding for those, the amounts that they needed to install those transformers before the developments came in. So as the commercial came in, we opted to wait so you could link up to transformers that they were installing for those. But that resulted in some of our conduit footages going higher. So even though this is a change order for the individual contract, we didn't have to bring the larger amount to put the transformers in ourselves for the project. But it was also part of the delay in that with some other subdivisions as well.
Okay, thank you. Questions? If not an entertain. Oh.
Well, it's all the streetlights that we're talking.
It was,
Or just,
oh,
just those
sorry,
ones?
the 26 that were part of this project. So this was the first city-owned streetlight project where we own the pole, the conduit, where historically all your streetlights are owned and maintained by RMP. So our next one will come hopefully in this fall with the new subdivisions. We budgeted for 5 add or replacements. So we'll keep putting our plan together and that'll be coming because this will wrap up the final payments for that project. And we'll start on the next one. We're already to another 25 with the new subdivisions and the 5 that we'll add for the next one.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the change order for $14,444.55 for the 2021 streetlight installation project.
Just one correction, it was $14,414. We said 44.
Oh, thank you. Yes, as the mayor stated.
Okay. Second?
I'll second motion.
Okay, motion by Arrington and Monica, and second by Mary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 13, professional services agreement, amendment. Discussion possible action to amend the professional services agreement between John Gileman and Pleasant View City. Andrea.
So the original contract with John Gileman had expired or lapsed, according to the 12-month term in the original agreement. So we just went and updated this, did increase his fee from $45 an hour to $60 an hour. And then I did send you a clean copy of that in your email today.
I don't know if you guys have had a chance to work with him, but I have a little bit. Yeah, he does a good job and this is just like,
Bargain.
Yeah,
He's
that's
a
bargain.
bargain. He's a good guy. Well, we pay our other attorney 150.
the bargain.
And he does a good job too, but John's a little more able to come and meet with us and handle some of the smaller stuff.
From what I understand, Mr. Geilman is a little more knowledgeable with land use and a little bit quicker to respond on those
Yeah.
issues.
Mayor,
I'll say.
because of Ann's bargain
Comment.
comment, I'll make this motion. I don't agree necessarily with the bargain, but I put all
Love
my
it
eggs
anyway.
in, I'll make that motion anyway, just because Ann is such a wonderful young lady.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna deny that and do my own motion.
Okay, I have,
I'm not sure I'm seconding that motion either.
Way out there.
Like, okay,
I
I'll
don't know.
second the motion.
apparently.
I'll revise the motion
Oh,
on this.
yeah.
Laurie, I'll make a motion, or Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the professional services agreement as stated.
I'll second that one.
Motion by Gibson, second by Arrington, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I was trying to pay you off.
Motion carries, thank you.
You're far away.
Item 14, other business. Tyson wants to start it. You have anything else?
Just working through the event cleanup
just-
that should be,
Just maybe brief us real quick about
Yeah.
the leak.
yeah, it's wrapped up now. It's under a storm drain, a little more complicated, a little more safety measures had to go into place. So that dragged that out. The older valve that's leaking currently, where you couldn't shut it off and we were having trouble shutting it down and had additional area. And so working on getting that information out, and we've been pushing out projects, I think, a lot better now that we're getting settled in processes. So
This is the one by the roundabout, right?
Yes.
we're hoping that this demo tool can help us get that to shut off, stop leaking. Sometimes you can back them off and they'll stop, but they're not in the grounds rounded off, so your keys don't bite it. We have a big giant gator valve for those, and even it was slipping off. So the next step, if that tool doesn't work, we'll dig a hole there and hopefully that'll go smoother. But a couple of the projects are getting most of their submittals in, the two big ones that were approved. We'll let you know when they're getting ready to actually start moving. We've asked them to push it off past due, not for obvious reasons, for the big show, so they're not tearing up the parade route, because some of that would be affected around here with those, so.
So right after that, they're gonna start.
They should be timing unless they have any other submittal issues to kick off, probably in July. So that's the big stormwater and those repairs all over town, and the sewer one out on the highway.
Awesome. Chief.
So I don't know how long ago it was, a couple of years ago, probably. You all probably remember paying into that new CJC building down there, the Children's Justice Center. That's done. It's up and running. We went down to the grand opening and it turned out super nice. They did some of the history on the CJC and why we have them, and so I just want to thank you for doing that, for doing that for our kids. We use it a lot. And if you ever want to go down there and look at it, get a hold of me. You can go down and walk through it. It's a pretty awesome place for the victims of these horrible crimes to go there and
Big difference from what they had.
yeah, huge difference. I mean, I went to it, but I don't, it's right by, is it Ben Lomond High School? Is it right next to? Right in the middle of Ogden somewhere. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know the exact address, but it's really nice. And so if you ever want to go down there and look at it, go down there. It's, I mean, we've went from kids being interviewed at the police station to a pretty nice little house in Ogden to this, and it's a great thing to, you know, they can be interviewed. There's all the resources for the family. There's the medical place. It's all right there. So it's super.
It's great. Yep.
Super nice thing. So that was exciting to go in there and be a part of that. The other thing, we're just getting ready for Founder's Day. I've tasked Sarah, our CRO. I told her to focus on Pleasant View Drive for the next month or so. So she's been going up and down there talking to people about keeping their trees trimmed back so people can walk down the sidewalks. I'm trying to get them to cut their weeds down and grass down and stuff. So if you do see anywhere like that along the parade route or anywhere that's, just call us up or text me or call me and we'll get her over there to take care of that. So that's about it for us.
Andrea.
It's awesome, you know,
The other thing I have is, net food for night thing, safety free, it was all about that. And it was, have to go to the camera out there so that this, that exchange zone out there is like monitoring. Been working on monitoring, company support, getting pretty close on that, be able to submit it for, and then we had a meeting with Dave Lowry, we the brush, subdivision down in, we just purchased the property at, it's only $2,100 for the gray. That was really road.
Oh, gotcha.
Behind
Yeah,
the
yeah.
house, yeah, it's on the same side as Rush, okay.
Isn't it still a private road?
Yes.
We don't maintain that at all. do we?
Well, that's,
We do.
we do. That's where she's headed here.
Oh.
Here we-
To do something that's part of that, and as part of that is looking at increasing roadway and the road, so. I'd like you to think about, consider the city putting in some sort of type of contribution towards the roadway. We didn't have in front of them, but we only got $150,000 to put that roadway in. And it's that,
So the reason this come up is, it's okay. Is, originally when he came in, he just wanted to do this parcel off the, this cul-de-sac there in the brush. And we said, well, no, this is on the master plan there, you know, and anyway, and we're claiming it as a road. Cause he's like, well, I don't, you know, it was actually owned by the person on the other side of the street, which is Sean Myers. And, he just owns the parcel and it's not really a legal subdivision. Because he just bought the parcel and he didn't go through the subdivision process. So he said you have to go through the subdivision process and therefore you have to do the road type thing. And that was a year ago, at least probably. And said, go work with Sean, come back, da, 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 da. We were claiming basically a prescriptive use because the cities have used it as a road since, well, probably forever, but at least since the two 2700 come in and split Hillsborough, don't use it and they don't own it anymore. So Sean Myers owns it as part of that other piece. And so it's like, well, we've been maintaining it, we've been using it. It really is in need of serious repairs. Probably gonna have to take most of the whole road right out and, you know, redo it. And so he's like, so we don't really have a present, you know, any numbers, any just it's like, what are your thoughts? I guess kind of where we're at there. It's like, I personally believe we do have skin in the game because citizens of Pleasant View has been using it as a road. We've treated it as a road. We're telling them it's a prescriptive. We're telling them it is a road because we're claiming prescriptive use. So I think we have some. I don't know that it's a third. I don't think it's a third. Maybe, you know, something, but that's yet to be determined. Some other things might be that we can help about is tying it into the intersection. Anyway, some more stuff to follow on that, but just wanted to get a feel and bring you up to speed kind of on it. Test the temperature in the room and see what you guys think about it. I mean, legally, we do not have to do anything. Morally, I think we have skin in the game because our citizens have enjoyed the use of that road. Who put it in? The Hillsborough, the barn. Pleasant Meadows, you know, the barn condos. Cause that was that's how they accessed it back
Before
then.
2700.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to see some plan for it, because it really doesn't function as the Bluetooth thing, I think it needs to be straightened up. I think. Well, it's Williams Road. Well, no, it's Williams Road, but it kind of goes off to, there's not much on the side. Yeah, it's kind of narrow there, and it goes, it just. Well, they'll be cementing the subdivision plat. I would like to hear that, like, they asked, and I said, we don't, even in a subdivision, we don't necessarily, I mean, that's part of the. Well, yeah, that's what I said, this is way different, because, like I said, we have told them because basically it was like, the very, very first meeting, their legal or whoever's doing it, wrote it, they said, well, we're claiming it as a road. Through prescriptive. Is that, is that necessary though, because we do, so Rush, I mean, that's not a road either, but that is an access through 2550 to 2700, it's private. It's not, we do not have to do a thing. Just wondering what. We do not have to do anything. It'd be nice to see what they come back. Okay. That's what I'd like to see. Like I said, legally, we are not obligated to do a single thing. Morally, we should consider that citizens of Pleasant View has enjoyed that as a road, so maybe they need to because I wonder if only up a little bit of something. More Harrisville uses it, or how many Pleasant View residents really do use that? I mean, I use it sometimes when I can't get across 2700, go down there and come back up and go through the old. I probably used it. Since 2700 come in, I use it 2 times a month.
Going from experience of living in the Cove, that was kind of an easy access from the 2700 before, but now, like I say, there's multiple access things on.
Yeah, and I don't think we should contribute a lot. Some of the things we might contribute more.
Is there going to be a light out of the Rush at some point?
Well, there's been one approved when traffic warm.
So
we don't.
So the Rush and then going over to Bailey property, you have a light there.
Yes.
And then do we want to have another road?
Well, we don't want to give up that road.
Okay.
That's your
Just
message.
tell them that, yeah, we'll consider it. I mean, I think it's like we consider it.
Well, and I like, we'll work with them. We'll bring something back to you.
What is he gonna do there? What's his plans? He hasn't said anything.
He didn't really say that they originally said like a hotel, but I think that's too small. I don't know.
See, so I mean, it'd have to be beneficial monetarily for us to invest that, I think. I don't know,
There's no incentive for us to do anything.
unless, I'd have to see more of the plan for that property.
That's not off the table, right?
Off the table.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
All right. Did you have more? Okay, Laurie? And?
So the pickleball courts, you've got the post-tension concrete poured, and so now that has to acclimate.
They
and
started
just
down there.
do stuff that. Yeah, so we're gonna it's gonna feel like a 4-week now, just because that has to just
Did
like.
they say
store
anything
and-
about my handprint?
They know your handprint and you have been identified by your fingerprint,
Okay, thank you.
and Stetson has to talk to you afterwards. Just kidding.
You got the posts all up.
Poster up, oh, it's looking really good. Yeah, it's looking really good. So moving right along, so.
Okay.
The Ann Arrington Memorial.
Not true.
Memorial.
Not true.
Okay.
It's looking good. And I was just gonna ask, I don't know if we wanna talk about this right here, if we just want a one-off, but just what businesses have been approved right now at 2700 that are kind of in the stages that we could talk about? Like, are we still got the Jack in the Box, or we can't talk about that right
We have
now?
building permit in.
Which ones do we have building permits in for that?
What was
in
that, where was it? So, just the bills and stuff, with listed Jack in the Box, right?
Of the
Yeah,
licenses?
other licenses, yeah, so Jack in the Box. Delay,
Well, when they're gonna start, they're ready. All they gotta do, did they get all their submittals in, or Jack and Box?
I think Jack in the Box, we're still waiting
Wait,
for.
1 or 2 things.
That's gonna go on the other side of Einstein.
Between Einstein's and Dutch Bros.
That's all I got, you guys.
Okay. Thank you, and Dave, do you have anything?
No. Not Founder's Day stuff.
It's Founder's Day,
Meetings Thursday, right?
there's Thursday, 3.
I'm kind of to the panic mode.
This happens every year.
Everything's going so well, and I talked to Heather yesterday. Cause I was going, I mean, every year I go and say, what have we forgotten? It's too easy. What have we forgotten? What have we forgotten? It's easier this year. No, and I'm a little concerned. I put up, my wife and I put up the signs yesterday. We've gone. And I'm concerned with notification along 89, those, we used to put signs there, we don't have any for them, but we didn't last year. But I wanna make sure that they know they're part of Pleasant View. And then over where the movie theater used to go, it's we don't have a sign for them either, and I would put one there maybe, but we don't have one. Revolving junk, did you find any of them?
All of it. We put anything we were using in that.
So last year, we just did the ones for the entryway signs that we have. 6 of them. And I still have one more to put on Pleasant Drive, but I gotta get the poles, I ran out of time. I think next year we need to, if I'm around, do something more for them, and it's too late to get the signs now, but go back. I don't know, but we have to put it in here, let's see.
Is it on the marquee? You know? Can we check on that?
We could
At least put it on.
be able to throw some A-frames down there as we rotate them.
Yeah, I wanna include, again, a lot of people come into those new subdivisions off of 89, they never come into the city.
Yeah.
And I just was thinking, I mean, I got one on the Boxelder County line coming in, that one there.
Yeah.
We don't have anything over there, so anyway. But I'm to the panic mode, just making sure that everything's.
Yeah.
I think it is, I've talked to Lee's, I've talked to Becky. Food's all ordered, we had 1,100 pounds this year versus 1,000 last year. There's no air show, so who knows?
Did you get your email with the permits?
Well, Heather
I've given them to you, I gave them to Becky, and I gave them to Heather.
Heather had the hard copies. And so I was gonna ask you, that was my next question, did you clear all that up? From the health department,
Yes.
that's all. What was their issue? I don't wanna say it in public.
No, the issue, they just wanted to get hold of whoever was in charge of the food trucks, because they haven't done any.
Oh, don't have it.
Sarah took care of this, whatever she did. I think they just needed to know who, so they could check their licenses. Make sure they were on file. But
Anyways,
yes, and then we did have the thing where we needed the food grade buckets. I think Phil said he was gonna take care of that.
We
this
can talk
cover,
more about Thursday. I got something about pallets too.
Yeah, we'll talk about Thursday.
just come prepared on Thursday, to just knock it out. Might be a little longer than a normal, but
Perfect.
I just wanna hit every item, make sure we're. No, I haven't really talked to Phil. He's giving everything to Sarah.
Regular race. Yeah,
I love it. My favorite day of the year. Just love Founder's Day. My kids come
Sunday
back.
after.
What?
The Sunday after is mine. Favorite day of the year.
I love sitting at the fireworks when it's all over. Yeah, when it's been successful
Yeah.
and it's watching.
That is, once that's done, and you can come up here and just sit in the lawn chair and just, then you can get ready for the fireworks.
Andrew, you're in for a great show. Get a kick butt at it, but on any Far West nonsense you've ever involved.
All right, there was a little bit of confusion. I had several calls about, you did away with the salmon bacon, you're doing a Dutch oven, and it's like that, so. I went, Andrea and I think Heather took care of getting it advertised, adding the salmon bacon, the breakfast to the. We had the schedule, well, they added the schedule. And then it's like, well, people aren't reading the schedule, they're looking at the big events thing, and they took care of that, so hopefully they'll take care of that, so.
This heritage thing, it was kind of we kind of tossed that around a little bit, what to do. Cause they want, you go up there and it's just not well attended.
Yeah.
So they wanted to try to move it down to be a little more centrally located, to be attended.
Yeah,
And
we'll
so-
see how it goes this year.
If it shouldn't take away from Founder's Day, or from Salmon Bake, They should just enhance it.
Hope so.
It's just entertainment though, they're not doing a presentation.
I've told them, you know, to try to clean up as much as we can. We don't leave a mess with Public Works. They're all on that, so. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that.
Item 15 is closed meeting. I do not believe we need a closed meeting. So, move to item 16. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They're adjourned.
Mosquito is, starting to spray.
Oh, okay.
You didn't do the banner Pittsburgh?
I got it.
Sorry. Come back.
It'll take a long time, so. All right.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from May 27th.
I'll second the motion.
No, what we have, they, the RDA.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Budget to be discussion, to be discussion of possible action to adopt 5.6 including the budget resolution 2025 RDA. Okay, change.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, I would have-
Yes.
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 Your turn, Steve.
So moved.
Second.
So,
Aye.
so. Well. That was a long meeting to be done in an hour and a half. That was pretty good. That's impressive.